Thousands of demonstrators of the pro-Russian Czech opposition party gathered in the capital city of Prague on Saturday to protest against the government, criticizing its economic management and military support for war-torn Ukraine. The protest was called by the PRO movement, which is not represented in parliament and has taken a nationalist, pro-Moscow and anti-Western line. Addressing the crowd at the Wenceslas Square, PRO leader Jindřich Reichel said, "We made another step today to move out of the way of the rock that is the government of Mr. Prime Minister Petr Fiala. They are agents of foreign powers, people who fulfill orders, ordinary puppets, and I do not want a puppet government anymore," Reichel said, saying that the Czech Republic should veto any attempt by Ukraine to join NATO. About 10,000 people took part in the protest, which is less than the identical protest from a year ago when energy prices in Europe were at their highest. Reichel hailed the nationalist policies of Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orbán as a role model and called for an alliance of Central European countries to counter Brussels. He also voiced support for Slovakia's former Prime Minister Robert Fico, who has adopted a staunchly anti-Western stance ahead of an election on September 30th. Protesters on Saturday also criticized the Fiala government's stewardship of the Czech economy, which has suffered double-digit inflation. The government's management of the economy, which has experienced double-digit inflation and lagged its counterparts in Europe with output still not returning to pre-COVID levels, was also condemned by the protesters. The head of the populist group, Jindřich Reichel, blamed the government for following orders from Brussels and criticized the country's support for Ukraine and its close ties with the US. His group, whose name in English stands for Law, Respect, Expertise, has no seats in parliament. Some demonstrators demanded the country quit NATO. The protesters were planning to march to the Interior Ministry building in Prague. In a social media post, police said that they detained a man at the protest who was wearing a patch of the Russian mercenary group Wagner on suspicion of supporting genocide. The PRO movement is not represented in the Czech parliament and has taken a nationalist, pro-Moscow and anti-Western line. Under the current government, the Czech Republic has been a close ally of Ukraine, sending tanks, rocket launchers, helicopters, artillery shells and other materials to help Ukrainian forces fighting Russia's invasion.